So tell me about kind of what you do and what you input to keep the positivity going for you and your team.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, certainly, I mean that flows into so many different aspects of life. So for me, I'm an early riser. I forced myself to be that way as an athlete. I had to be that way anyway, and so I've continued on that into my life. So I'm an early riser. Also, when my kids were young, that was the only time that I felt like I could take care of myself, work out, and do the things, and not take away from time that I probably should be spending with them outside of work. Yeah, early morning routines. I spend time in the morning, either in the Word or listen to a sermon, reflecting. Sometimes just thinking. It's my favorite time. Is in the mornings. I'm not perfect at it, but try to do gratitudes each morning. Right out of the gates. I heard somebody somewhere said, try to name three things that you're grateful for. We're so fortunate, and we have so much to be grateful for, and we need to recognize that. So I try to be consistent about that. Yeah, workout routines is really really important. And yeah, just taking care of myself so that I have the energy to breathe into, everybody else. Yeah, so just trying to, and I try to not allow myself to be fed with negativity. The older I get, the more I realize how precious time and energy is, and I just really don't. I don't want this to sound bad, but I'm just not real interested in investing time and energy into folks that are really negative all the time. And so I've learned to recognize that and minimize, not that I'm cutting people out per se, but really minimizing the amount of time I'm allowing negative energy to influence, because it just yeah, it just drags us down. So I'm really careful about that. So I have that positive to bring to the table. So
Those are some really great practical applications. Great question, Catherine. And I think if we're bringing today's episode into a close, I want to highlight those one more time because when we talked earlier, sometimes we sense that leadership comes from, as you described it, Mike, that some people just think, oh, you got a role or a title, and therefore you've got to lead. But some of that has to come from somewhere deep inside of you. I don't know, as you said, nature versus nurture, the debate of the ages. But I do know this is that somewhere deep inside of each of us, we know in those areas we've been called to lead. Some of us, it's a high focus on self-leadership or family leadership. Others of us are going to have opportunities to lead larger groups of people, whether it's within a team or within an organization. Wherever you've been called to lead, I think where we landed on that question, Catherine, is, remember to protect your inputs, because those things that influence you, whether it's negative noise, whether it's busyness, whether it's people that want to take shots at other people and bring them down, those things have a compound effect on our leadership capacity. And when we choose to remove those in strategic ways, and I heard you loud and clear, Mike, it's not cutting people out, but just limiting some of the audible access to that. I think that's super powerful, and people frankly overlook the strength of that. They just think, oh well, but that's my sister, I've got to put up with that, or oh well, that's just that's a teammate that's really productive, so we just deal with the jerk that he is. Well, consider the cost. And I think you've done a really great job of highlighting the fact that that's a key ingredient to your ability to see the possibilities on the positive side, and then to leverage them and really grow and really accomplish some great things.